So, hey everyone, happy Friday. We'll get officially rolling on the intro, etc., in just a little bit, but in the meantime, happy Friday. I don't know, are you hearing that? I can still hear it through the headphones. They're the Patriotsounds, I think. That's what it sounds like to me.
What's going on?
How's it going?
What's going well, man? Super excited for today. I am pumped
Yes.
up. I love it. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. Always a good time on this thing. I'm starting to get to my limit as far as like I have so much going on that for me, keeping content flowing on this channel is becoming tricky sometimes. It's so like I think the last few weeks in a row I've been like scheduling guests at like Thursday night, be like, hey, is anyone available tomorrow? And so yeah, I mean it's honestly it's a big favor for me, but I understand also that like because of all the promo you've been doing for like the THORChain world and stuff, I kind of figure that it's news topical enough to actually talk about it, so it's not like it's forced, but also it's like it helps both of us. So it's not like, can you do me a favor, come on my show? I kind of feel like it works out for both of us.
No, dude, Dash is killing it right now. And yeah, dude, it's a good problem to have. You got popular kid problems. You know what I mean? You're that kid in high school right now that everyone wants to be a part of. So it's a
Yeah,
good thing, man. I know it's a little overwhelming at times, but
yeah, it's
there.
not like Zcash level because that stuff is insane. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I have to say, like Zcash, I mean, we're gonna talk about this later, I'm sure, but like Zcash had less. I wouldn't say less going for it, but less going on than Dash for sure. Like 6 months ago, as far as just integrations where you could use it, transactions, total users, all this stuff. It just
Right.
and to go from that to like a market leader kind of overnight is got to be more jarring because like Dash price went up, transactions went up, deals are coming through. I got to put in a budget proposal tonight for something new and exciting, which, but like it's hopping, but it's not like I think we're more well adjusted. It's not as big of a jump, and it's
Right.
also we're more used. Where, anyway, but it's just it's been jarring to a few people, but we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
how's stuff been on your side in general? I mean, I know you've been active everywhere.
Yeah, we're just building. We got so many cool things coming. We got limit swaps and memolists that are both going live. That took us a little time to get done, so
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna see how that goes. I don't know if we want to get into it right now, but limit swaps are really exciting. Going to help arbitrageurs balance the pools and much more efficiently. It's a very big change in terms of like swap logic and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very exciting. So we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. And then Memolist just went live on THORChain's main thing. And that's you go to thorchain.org and you click swap and it takes you right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really cool. You don't have to connect your wallet. So if people want to try that out and let us know, literally it just went live, I don't know, like 30 minutes ago. So hot off the presses. So
Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah,
very cool. Um, I guess before we go officially live, the only like the Dash stuff is there's just stuff happening. It's cool. It's really great seeing a price pop off attention. There's something about Maya that I'll mention during the stream because it's sort of related. That's
yeah,
but basically the thing is what people don't. I'm gonna get into the Zcash part, but basically because all the budget for Dash is denominated in Dash, and we have been really good at running on fumes for like a while, like to where it's not like we're dying over here. It's like no, everything's moving very
mm-hmm.
well, and we're like figuring out ways of getting things done with no money, kind of thing, just on the
Right,
skeleton crew, and it's just like working great. But then all of a sudden, like the money is just like just comes in,
right,
and now I'm
right.
just like I gotta scramble to like make use of it, because you never know. Like I'm not fudding by saying this. You never know if the price is gonna go down to $20 within a couple months.
Sure,
Like you
sure,
just don't know,
yeah,
and I want like generational building from this. And so as with that, I did, you know, hiring staff is always difficult, but I did find some people. Maybe you might even know, but I've been throwing some corns at some people, saying like, "Yo, can you?" I've been hitting up the temp agency that is Telegram, and just be
mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, can you do some work real quick? Because I'm drowning in all these like applications and other things." And so that's happening. So that's cool. All right, intro time. What do you think?
Let's roll, buddy. I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go. So, hey everyone, officially now, welcome to the Digital Cash Rundown, episode 210. I don't know if you can divide years into weeks, but 210 weeks, and it's more than that. Been doing this show like clockwork every Friday unless I don't. I'm joined by the one and only, I'm pretty confident in saying, Patriotsounds, because I don't know anyone else who calls himself that. So, how's it going, man?
Is going so well, Joel, and I have to say 210 episodes, that is consistency, and look what Dash is doing. It's doing super well. That's what consistency does, buddy. Well done. Congratulations to all the Dash people. I know I don't want to get premature, right? Because this is just all happening, but I think you guys have been doing what you need to do. You guys have been correct. Like, you were super early. Dash, we all suffer, I think, for being too early. I think everyone has a similar ethos, whether you're THORChain, Dash, or Zcash. We called it, right? You guys have been building. So, again, man, I know THORChain's part of the subject, but I really want to make sure Dash gets the highlight here. Great job to you and your community. God bless you all. You're doing wonderful things, and keep going. I love it, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's, I call that the day job, right? Where... I try, the thing is, this is all like in the same thing. As far as crypto, I'm into crypto. Most of my time is about Dash specifically. And I have to say also most of my interest, like the same amount of interest almost proportionally. So it all works out great. But like, this is sort of my outlet to be not just a paid Dash shill, which is funny because the crypto industry has grown so much that today people doing things for money in crypto is common, right? Everyone does something like that. Whereas in the early days when I got started, if you got paid by a crypto project, that was like salacious. Like, people were like, oh my gosh, they had all these weird communist ideas about like, you can't get paid. What are you talking about? And one thing I noticed, if you know anything about Mert, the Solana guy, the Helios Labs dude, he's been shilling Zcash so hard, and I think that there is something like bag holder. I think bag holders are the most aggressive shills in the space because they don't have the ability to be fired for shilling the wrong way. They can go as hard and dishonest as they want, right? If they want to, right. And they get paid nothing other than commission as far as their bags go up if the thing goes up, and so they're very motivated to shill and not encumbered by, other stuff. So it's almost like, I think page promoter people are almost like more, maybe a hot take, are almost more reliable than people who are just like bag holdy investors. What do you think about that? Am I full of it?
No, I think you're good. I'm just thinking, because like, why is the price doing what it's doing? Like, it's like euphoria. You know what I mean? It's incredible. And I think when that happens in this way, I think there's just some intuitive thing that most people are coming to on their own, because everyone shills for every project. Like, obviously, I'm a THORChain bull, you're a Dash bull, right? I love THORChain. I always am promoting it. Yeah. But with Zcash, it's just been this meteoric rise. Absolutely. And I think it's the thing that you guys have been with Zcash or Dash, it's privacy, right? Like, it's becoming mainstream. People now they look around the world, they're seeing all the crazy stuff going on, and they say, oh my God, BTC it's not private. And I don't know when it's going to get privacy, if ever. So maybe I should reallocate a percentage of my portfolio to Zcash or Dash or whatever, right? I think it's just organic, and it's just so. I mean, it's just when the narrative takes hold, there's just truth to it. I mean, of course you need privacy. Of course you need privacy. Right? It's insane that we don't.
It's an idea whose time has come. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense why people would be chilling those things. I actually have been very measured in the Dash shilling that I've done publicly, because first of all, that's not my main job, is just yell about it. But also, like, I'm trying to get credibility as like a more neutral voice. And everyone knows that I'm financially incentivized to believe one thing. But I don't actually get paid to personally shill Dash at all. In fact, I do get paid, on the other hand, to shill Coin ATM Radar, which is the proud sponsor of this podcast. So when you're buying with crypto with cash, an ATM is much more reliable and safer than meeting some random person in a random place. And unlike an exchange, which could freeze your account, you truly own all the crypto you buy. Kind of like trading on THORChain or Maya Protocol or whatever. They're not going to tell you can't trade anymore. You need KYC. With Coin ATM Radar, you can find crypto ATMs and other services where you can buy or sell cryptos for cash. In case you don't have crypto to throw through the beautiful cross-chain AMM space, you need cash. You get to the ATM, and then you're in that world. On the website, search by coin, address, if the ATM supports selling as well as buying. And you can also search by geographical area, such as country, state, or city. And you can check and compare actual current fees across different ATMs. So please, to find out more, go to coinatmradar.com, which is coinatmradar.com. Getting a little faster with that reading out. Hopefully people getting like the Ben Shapiro kind of cadence there.
Yeah, that was pretty rapid. What does KYC stand for there, Joel?
It stands for know that you're a cock. No, know your customer.
Yeah. It means, yes, that's correct. It means kill your customer. That's what it means, buddy.
Yes.
And we don't do that. No. I've
Yes.
said this story. Hopefully I don't repeat myself. I've said this story many times. You hear about what happened in New York with the detectives that found, detectives, mind you, found the guy who had crypto and they tortured him for his seed phrase. Police department. Yeah.
Happens all the time. So
Yeah, no
definitely
wonder people want privacy.
Don't tell people that you want don't tell people what you own. Don't tell anything.
Yeah.
And the thing about the KYC thing, this is always one of those weird things to talk about a lot publicly, but like there's two elements of dodging KYC. There's being an illegal, sketchy money launderer person who's going to prison, and then there's like being a freedom advocate. And so I have to like make sure I'm like not the former and the latter. Like when I tell, like, for example, when I am perfectly capable of going through KYC, and I think there's nothing wrong in principle with like following along with the basic laws and regulations of your country, but more importantly of the companies that say, could you please just, we want this for our things. I don't know in principle, but the thing is, the principle of KYC, I don't believe in it, and I think it's dangerous to people. So therefore, any way I can avoid that or promote things that do, like I want the most squeaky clean, most tax-payingest citizens in the world doing nothing illegal to legally avoid KYC everywhere they can. So that's like, I want to be super clear about that point. Like, it's like privacy. You want to just make yourself safer, make the world a better place by embracing it. And like there is like not using like KYC is like not using KYC, not going through KYC is not a crime. It's not illegal.
Right.
In some instances it's illegal if you have to do it for this thing. But so do a different thing that doesn't require it. So avoid it. Legally avoid KYC. That's what I'm telling everyone. If people want to illegally avoid it, someone else will be telling them to do that. Do your thing. But as far as you can legally avoid KYC, please do it.
Yeah, what I would say, KYC, it's dangerous, right? I mean, all it takes is a data breach, right? I had a Coinbase account. I haven't used Coinbase in forever, but my data's leaked now. I get all these freaking things, and email and all this stuff now, all these fake scammer links. KYC is dangerous, okay? The only thing that should be KYC'd is the government, right? Is public funds, and that's not how it is right now. KYG, know your government. There you go, buddy. Right now, and that's the thing, is like Alex from My Protocol, he puts it very well. He says KYC also modifies behavior, and it's a form of control. People should be able to transact as they want, right, and do what they want. Of course, we hate criminals. We don't want criminals. But the people who want KYC, or don't want KYC rather, they're just protecting themselves for the reasons I alluded to earlier with that detective, right? I mean, if you gave me Bitcoin, if you bought something from me, I'm a bad guy, you're a good guy. I know what every transaction you made prior, and then I'll know what every transaction you make thereafter, because I'll know this is Joel, this is his address, and I can just keep monitoring it. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. We need privacy, no KYC. That's just the way it's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I do notice that anything I do that is KYC of any kind, which is very rare, right? Yeah. But anything like my caution in doing anything around, my hesitancy to do anything like that is really heightened. and it's for, for good reasons. You don't want to like screw it up and end up like a criminal, but also you don't want to like be blocked from things. Whereas like if I send the wrong amount of money for an invoice, they'll just tell me, hey, that wasn't enough. Oh, sorry, and I send more, and it's good. And so like everything else is just so easy. It's like, hey, I want to send you something to your Dash Pay wallet. Here we go, sending a username. Bam, you get it. That's it.
Right.
Whereas if it's like, let me get you on Venmo and ID and all this stuff, and also there's different ways of KYC, different people you give it to. And anytime I have to give ID, I always, when I can, present my passport, because my passport does not. First of all, with the real ID stuff, I don't want to get into the crazy rabbit hole and that stuff. But the real ID enabled driver's licenses in the U.S., also known as the only country on the planet that matters. Just kidding. It's data sharing across state and federal agencies all over the place. Whereas with a passport, it's just the State Department. And most importantly, the passport does not have your home address on it. So if someone steals your KYC info in their passport document, they don't know where you live. But if they steal your driver's license, you do. So you're much more at risk. So if you have a passport, I would say, first off, everyone has real ID except for like a lot of people in New Hampshire, because it's not mandatory here. Like you can get a non-real ID version. If you want to travel, get a passport card. Just don't do the real ID. Anyway, ramble over. Let's talk about the mooning, right? So Zcash has done decently these last was it couple weeks? What are we at? Like 5 weeks? 5 weeks in?
Yeah, I heard someone say this is just a post I read. I don't know if it's true, but they said like average 20% gains daily for a month, which is just freaking crazy.
It's the inverse Bolivar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. Well said.
Yeah, so
there you go.
We cannot ignore that it is a meteoric rise overnight kind of thing. Yeah. And there's no way the utility and value of the network has increased that much in that period of time, of course. I also don't think it's a pump and dump. I don't think it's just going up and then it's going to have its moment and then go away. That's why I wrote this brief post about equating it to being like the new Dogecoin of like privacy meme season, because we are clearly in some sort of a privacy season. Do you remember when Dogecoin popped off, when our Lord and Savior Elon Musk kind of started posting about it? So that started the meme coin era, and Dogecoin is the standard bearer of the meme coins, and it just rocketed to wherever. Elon hasn't tweeted about it in a while, but Doge is still up there. It just got solidified. And then think of all the other trash coins that popped out of nowhere, like Shiba Inu, Floki, Whiff Hat, and like all the other, no offense to those fine projects, but dog poop, Doge poop, right? Like no offense, they all kind of came up. And so privacy is a meme right now. I mean, it's much more than a meme, but it is a meme right now as far as it's in people's minds. It's like a thing. People love it. Just like the time when a Bitcoin fork was a meme. Everyone loved the Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin. Oh my gosh. And so privacy is a meme. Zcash is the standard bearer as the privacy meme coin. And everything else sort of got lifted up by that. Like the Dashes of the world, the Decreds of the world, the Pivx went okay, I think. Vero did okay. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that did really well. Like Horizon did pretty well. Zen. A bunch of things did okay. And maybe Litecoin's starting to do better now as well. But like the point is, all this stuff is going up as a result of that. So, what do you think of the memification of privacy that we've seen with Zcash in the last 5 weeks or so?
I agree with your assessment. I believe it's going to be permanent. I think Kenton, my buddy who helps me with the THORChain spaces, he said it well. You know, I don't think it's going to take this long. I think he says like 3, 4, 5 years. We will look back and realize just how absurd it was that like Bitcoin doesn't have privacy, or maybe it's 10 years. I can't remember, but it's absurd. It is absurd not to have privacy. It's absurd to give someone crypto and they can see your address and see every address that you've touched and such and such. It's absurd proclamation. And so this transition, I think, is quite permanent. It's hard to predict what's going to happen. I think The euphoria is still strong. I think the meteoric rise is still going on, and people are reallocating. Right? I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard for me to think like when I think of Bitcoin. Okay, right? People say it's a store of value. It's really slow. It's not private. I really don't see much utility for the average person, right? When it comes to like everyday things, unless it changes its core aspects. I don't want to make this into a BTC bashing thing. I
Please
mean,
do. I
maybe
like that.
okay, yeah, well, maybe it'd be
You're
okay for
teasing me right now.
government.
I'm getting a little stimulated. Keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll get you warmed up right now, buddy. Yeah, I mean, maybe governments I could be okay, but like Bitcoin, I'm totally uninterested in it. I mean, I'm not. It doesn't work, right? I mean, come on, it's so slow. And you say numerous times. I mean, I am totally because of you. You have taught me so much about how terrible the Lightning Network is. Its TPS is zero. I've heard you say that so many times.
Hmm.
It's just people are waking up to this. And again, testament to you. I'm not trying to flatter you, but you were so early on this stuff, man. You've been saying this consistently for I think
Is this
years now.
the
I've watched.
we're so early meme?
Yeah, dude, it's a problem. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I think like THORChain. I mean, we're definitely early, but the tech has just been a nightmare. We're doing really well right now, but you know how hard it's been. Like 2021 we started, and it's just been absolute just blood coming out of our nostrils, out of our eyes, out of our mouth, just unbelievably complicated. I think someone posted this like over 600,000 lines of code in THORChain to get real layer one swaps, the layer one swaps. Unbelievably complex, unbelievably hard to do, but now it's doing well, right? And so I think
Hmm.
now privacy, I think, is now the meme, the thing that everyone
Yeah.
wants. And I think decentralization, no KYC, I think those things are following shortly. I would think.
I think so too. The thing about like I've thought about being early for a while, right? Because I'm trying to think about everything. I've been I don't know. I've been historic early person,
Yeah.
early on almost everything, and profiting in like benefiting from being early on almost nothing. And
Yeah.
finally, this is I think I've figured out the earliness, right? So, for example, I guess it's a mixed bag, right? Because I was first of all a pretty hardcore like libertarian, whatever person before it
Mhm.
became before the Ron Paul era. In fact, I was sort of skeptical about Ron Paul in the beginning because I was like, he seems cool, but he's a little like paleocon, like a little, I don't know,
Yeah.
he's a little like Republican-y, like maybe. And then it just later I kind of realized his legacy was just immaculate kind of thing.
Right.
So I was kind of like that, early to this stuff. I was early to. I've been a lifelong martial artist back when you were like a nerd, and then UFC came around, and then, you know, now it's like I don't know if it's cool, but now it's like there. But I didn't profit from being early. I mean, I can kick above my head, but that's about it, like,
Mhm.
and
Right.
then, but then you get to like I'm one thing I do feel like I was early to in a great way was the Free State Project, moving to New Hampshire 12 years ago for this intentional kind of thing. And now the whole let's all move to a free place idea is much more mainstream. And the gains from being early to New Hampshire, and especially buying real estate in New Hampshire,
Right.
now the price has gone nuts on that. It's like the new
Sure.
Zcash, right? But it's that's all I guess benefit with crypto. Obviously I've been earlier than a lot of people in crypto, but I have not gotten rich. And that's kind of like sometimes you're too early, right? Like,
Yeah.
for example, in 2016 I got rid of every last bit of Bitcoin that I had, and since then I've had bits here and there, like THORChain and Maya pools, for example. There's some Bitcoin in there, and I've had like some in a spending wallet here for like to test out Lightning, but I haven't actually meaningfully held Bitcoin since then because I saw the scaling problems and stuff, and I was like,
All
you
right.
know, and that has not been a smart move, I guess. Historically, I was early, but too early, and so. I have my own theories on like how to deal with that, but what do you think? How do we manage to
I
to
think the
benefit from
jury's
being
still out.
early?
I think you're selling yourself short. I mean, the problem with being early is that it sucks when you're early, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you're not getting so much in the early stage right now. I mean, you called it. It's here's the thing too. It's like if you have a problem. Here's the thing about that I think is unique about crypto is that it's such a new industry. There's still such a small part of the population that's involved. They don't understand it, and so new entrants. It's hard to predict right? Like for me, Bitcoin, I don't use it. I'm totally uninterested, but you still had these huge swaths of people still coming constantly into the industry, and they know Bitcoin. That's what they know, BTC. They don't
Mm-hmm.
really understand it. They don't understand the nitty gritty, right? This is, and so like, the market is a voting machine and then it's a weighing machine. And
Mm-hmm.
now I think we're getting to the waiting part where people are looking at Dash, or looking at Zcash, or looking at things that have more utility than BTC, right? And I think, man, I think you're being validated in real time, and it'll go up, it'll go down. You'll still have moments of doubt. It's a hard thing, man. Like THORChain, I've been so bullish on ever since I first learned about it. And people who are watching this right now, I've always been consistent. Like this can work. This is going to be great. We just got to keep going, and just
Mm-hmm.
years and years and years of that, right? It's like I worry sometimes my personal credibility suffers because it's been stagnant. But I just, when you follow the first principles like you did with Dash, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're just looking at the basics. You're looking at transactions per second. You're looking at privacy. This is not rocket science, and so it's just this try not to get your own head. Just stick with your gut and just go for it. That's what I just can tell people, right? And it'll work. If the first principles are solid, it'll work always. That's how it does.
Yeah, there's something about that. So first of all, I probably should not have sold any Bitcoin. This is my looking back, right? I
Right.
shouldn't have just been like, I'm all out. I shouldn't have got rid of any Bitcoin. I should have just acquired other cryptos as I got them and kept that and just let them be where they are in time, so that then it just like, I closed my bank account way early, a little too early, right? But so that's not a regret though, because I needed to do that to learn the skill set that I have today. But for the average person, I would not advise them to do that, because
Right.
it's not. You probably should hold on to it now. I would say go ahead, do it. It's useless today. Like you don't need one today at all. But like same thing with like Bitcoin. Like if I had held on to it until like 2021 or now or something, I could have like bought so much more stuff with it, or
Right.
rotated into crypto I want, or have like a nest egg of stuff that I could then donate to open source development on stuff I think is really important. Like there's so
Right.
much. So the problem with being early is you can't be too early to where it doesn't work today. And then the other thing is being early, like if the timing is off, like for example in martial arts, timing is right. If you time your move wrong, it just doesn't work. Like you throw the kick too early, he sees it. You throw it too late, you're getting knocked in the jaw while you're getting it out there. You have to time it right. And so if you're early, you don't like that's like you show up at a party like 2 hours early, and you're like, okay, now and then after an hour or 2 hours, you just leave because you're like, I was too early, and then everyone else shows up and you're screwed. Like if you're going to be 2 hours early, you spend that time like
Yeah.
working, building, like practicing your dance moves if you do that, or like getting your outfit ready or whatever. But you build during that time, and then when you're not early anymore, you're just like, here I am. And I kind of feel like the privacy meme is a now thing. It's a now thing. It's not early. It's like it's starting to happen. Well, still early, but it's like now. And like Dash has been doing this stuff since 2014, Zcash since 2016. Like there's like a decade or almost a decade or whatever of building on this
Mm-hmm.
early thing. So then you're just ready when it's just like it's time. It's like privacy coin season. I'm ready. You just
Right.
jump
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, for me, it's so easy to kick yourself, right? I mean, you go back, you rewind time in your mind when BTC was, hundreds of dollars or 1,000 or even $10,000, and right, and that's just a hard thing. I do my best not to let my mind do that, because I've just had outstanding wins. Like I was an early investor in Tesla stock, did super well in that, right? And there was decisions I made thereafter that I've missed opportunities, or I've bought Rune anywhere between this price and $15, right? For me, and so right now, if you look at that, it's like I am losing. I am losing. I don't let my mind to do that, because for me, it's just like a useless off gassing of energy. I just keep thinking. All my brain does, and especially I learned this after Tesla stock, is I had a lot of doubt when I invested in Tesla stock, because I looked at it, I looked at the fundamentals. I'm like, this is not really a car company; it's a software company. The margins on software alone are incredible. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But all these really smart people were saying it wasn't going to work. Right? It was saying that it's going to fail. Blah blah blah. But I invested anyway, with the knowledge, with the insecurity in mind, like if it fails, at least I'll figure out why I was wrong. I wasn't wrong, right? And I don't want to sound narcissistic, right? Or think that I am so super genius or anything. So the thing is, like, I just stick to the first principles, and that's all I do. And I don't have so much time, right? Like you as Dash, you are so into Dash, right? So when we were talking before, we're like, hey, what's going on with THORChain? What's going on with Dash? We literally don't have enough time to stay up to date. Not even on Maya protocol. You told me the thing about Dash, the Dash pool, and I had no idea. Right?
Yeah, well, so this is a great example, right? And maybe it's kind of like I kind of had it for like after we finish the Zcash stuff, we go THORChain, but might as well throw it up here now. So Dash, first of all, was the first coin that was integrated into the Maya protocol. That was, after Bitcoin, Ethereum, Rune, whatever. And it just sort of took all the headaches. Like, I have this meme. Should I don't know. I'll share it somewhere else. That I have it's like, I made a ChatGPT image about this, that for Dash, like the Maya protocol is like the McDonald's ice cream machine. It's just like always fucking broken, And it's sort of been a little bit like a lot of growing pains there, and the volumes were pretty low on Dash for a long time. And then just now, it's been down for a couple of days. And I want to throw up this thing. Alex Bio did get back to me and say he was more than happy to have me share it. So he says, got the bugs pinned down, must just release. Bug was caused by unprecedented volume on Dash and unprecedented transactions. One was the size of the pool itself. There was a slight mismanagement of UTXOs. It wasn't noticeable with lower volume, but with so many transactions, so much quantity, and so many outputs, it started to fail. Bullish Dash. So yeah, during this crazy pump, like Dash was doing Zcash level volumes on the Maya protocol, which, by the way, I pushed really hard for Zcash to be on the Maya protocol from both sides of things. And then when the time was right, boom, now Maya's just like blowing up with like activity on both fronts. Much more on the Zcash front, but Dash was hitting Zcash level volumes on 10% the pool size. And so that kind of, blew it. But like now that it's like, I kind of feel like building these foundations is super important to being when you're early. You don't just show up early. I'm early. I did the thing before anyone. Well, but then being early is wrong. It's the wrong time. But being early lets you just entrench with sandbags and turrets and everything your position before everyone else comes, and they're like, we're here too. It's like, ha sucker, I'm so much ahead of you now. And so that's the thing, is being ahead, like building these DEX integrations. And like, as soon as I saw like Zcash talk about near intense, I had no idea what that was, and I was like, what's this? And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, write that down. Like I'm gonna chase after that stuff too, because it's like, it's the thing to do. So yeah, all this like building and like all the stuff I've been working on last few weeks has been a lot of conversations I had earlier in the year about like, hey, should we integrate here? Hey, can we integrate that? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's going to be this much. Oh, I can't afford it. Okay, whatever. Just kind of talk. And like now I'm just like, both sides are on these, a lot of these conversations are just like, I'm hitting them up, they're hitting me up. It's just like, it is time. Like now it's ready. But the work is done ahead of time. And now it's like, boom, now it's time to go. So that's kind of my thing about being early. You got to be early, but you got to stay in and just get so ready. So by the time other people show up, they just cannot compete.
Yeah, and the thing, so I'll talk about Maya protocol a little bit for people to understand. So Maya protocol it's a sister chain of THORChain. We absolutely love them. I'm a cacao holder. I love Maya protocol to death. So the thing with Maya protocol, it's real layer one, right? So when you swap for Dash on Maya protocol, it is the real deal. They run a daemon of Dash. And so if you go like some stable coin to Dash, you are sending real assets. It's not like a lot of people don't. It's like a bridge is like an intermediary application layer, and it's like seeking consensus, right? And it's like often smart contracts or sending funds. Like no. This is the real deal. Layer one for layer one, done. No
Mm-hmm.
KYC, permissionless. And so this is a difference, like my protocol and THORChain. And it's a huge difference because to pull this off has been enormously technologically challenging. I mean, just hundreds of thousands of lines of code. Near Intents is a really cool innovation as well, right? And people who
Mm-hmm.
like they send their it's like a peer to peer though, right? Like you have an intent and it's filled or it's not. With
Mm-hmm.
my protocol or THORChain, it is filled. If you need an asset, you can get it. The pool is always available.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just an interesting, different, it's a different design implementation,
Yeah,
really
we'll
cool.
get into that later when we talk about getting intense like THORChain stuff. But yeah, it's like building ahead of time. You're building,
Right.
you're there during the chaos net age like I was. And the thing is, like, for example, the Dash Investment Foundation bought like 100K versus of USD of Rune at
Yeah.
literally what is the historic
Yeah,
top.
that's right. That's
and
right.
and it
Yeah.
just crashed to like nothing, but was enough to help seed the Maya pool for with
Mm.
cacao and all that stuff. But like, if you're that early, you also should buy. Like, I'm not saying no financial advice and stuff, but you should buy the rune dip too, the bottom. Like, you're not just too early and then you suck. Like,
Yeah.
you're early enough to see and be there and understand, and then you have to keep being the whole time through. So then
Yes.
when it just, same thing was like, some of the dash that I earned was priced at $1,000 per dash. So like I got like
A sliver.
I have gotten like single digit monthly dash salaries before, and then it just like, went way lower than that, and I would be like, oh my gosh, I got it at the top, this sucks. But if you keep getting it now, you got a dollar cost average your
Right.
earliness. That's kind of whether it's buying literally dollar cost average buying stuff, or it's your activity. Like when you're there at ChaosNet, you don't just like leave. You're
Mm-hmm.
just still there, and then it goes. But anyway,
Yeah.
enough of that ramble.
I agree with you. You got to stick with it, man. And like you said, early we said in this thing, it's working well. Look at you, man. So I'm just so happy. I am very happy to see this transition to privacy. It makes me just overjoyed. It
Well,
really
it's
does.
good that you're overjoyed because not everyone is. So Kraken shared this fun meme because they said maybe the real bull run was Zcash. It was a Zcash we made all along, and they shared this meme of like the Chad versus Virgin, where it's like the Virgin Bitcoin and then the Chad Zcash. It says like privacy or something. I don't know. Plus 388%.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why. Shows up out of nowhere. Bulls your bear market. Just like that was a good meme, and it's funny because that was the last. I get the biggest centralized exchange to support Monero, which is great for them because Monero needs some love there, but
Yes.
it's created a lot of haters. So the and I in doing this, I do need to be much more responsible than maybe I have been in the past. A lot of the Monero community is indifferent or happy about Zcash's performance, right? There is
Yeah.
a sliver of it. I don't know how big. Is it half? Is it 10%? Is it whatever? That have been just like the biggest turds and inconsolable.
Yeah.
And it's been funny to watch, to be honest. They get so triggered. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing is if you are a Monero, like the best thing you do is actually just throw praise at Zcash. That looks so much better than bitterness. And that's hard because you're just ordinary people. If anyone hears that, like actually just compliment them and then
Mm-hmm.
Monero looks better, right? That's all you got to do. Like if I
Mm-hmm.
see any protocol that does well, I don't talk shade on them. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome, right? If their
Yeah,
ethos matches with mine, I celebrate that. That's a win,
of course.
right? Near protocol is doing very well. It's decentralized. I don't know how decentralized they are, but
Yeah,
you know,
sure,
it,
there's some
it's better than a
asterisks.
sex. Yeah, it's better than a sex, though. I think we can both agree on
Yeah.
that. And yeah, I'm happy for them. That's great. That's really exciting. They did a good thing, but no insecurity here whatsoever. I think THORChain's
like-
better in design, but they've done very, very well. Obviously,
Even things like I haven't been super critical, have not been critical very much of Ripple XRP. Privately, sometimes I say like about what I don't like about the company and the whatever. I'm not gonna use this opportunity to say anything about that. But the point is, it's like compared to fiat and banks, maybe there's some similarities with that, but also it's not like it's definitely not gonna be worse than that. So like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to waste my gas complaining about that. We have a fiat system to like overthrow, and like the right people are focused on building good tech and
Mhm.
opposing evil. And then there's some salty mofos who are like
Yeah.
trying to pretend that Zcash is the worst thing in the world. It's like, dude, you're using fiat right now. Like, don't you think you have bigger problems? And there's
Right.
this dude. Do you know who Bitlord is? I don't know if you know that
I've
guy.
heard. Yes. Yes. I don't know
Yeah,
who they are, but I've seen their stuff.
he is. I mean, he's always been a little bit of an unhinged dude, but he is not liking the Zcash pump stuff.
Yeah.
And so some of his stuff, for example, he posted this thing that said, please share your Zcash FUD in the thread. We need to stop this shit tonight. That's
God.
one of his posts. And
Yeah.
I did comment on that under the Dash account. Said, haven't seen a crash out like this since BitBoy. Because he's been going pretty rough. And then he says, who's down to vamp Zcash tonight? We're calling it Zbash 1-to-1 fork. Post your address for the airdrop. All this
Yeah.
just like going crazy. And then Vlad Kostia, he's a little like, I love Vlad, right? He's a little bit of a, what would you call it? Like a little more of like a pumpy fanboy style person online than I am, but he's a great dude. Anyway, he says, in hindsight, Monero bros, and I should say, not all of them, but the complainers, are the most sidelined, meaning like sidelined for Zcash,
Yeah.
right? He says, at least the BTC Maxi friends have the excuse that they've been indoctrinated by Sailorism. But the Monero bros had the fundamentals handed to them on a silver platter. Every time they posted FUD, someone tried to explain to them how ZEC actually works, and yet most of them didn't buy any. Or they're just so loyal to their zero sum that they wouldn't publicly admit that they did. I hope you all
Yeah.
hold at least one ZEC, Monero bros. One day you might need it. Yeah, I mean, I hope the Zodlers have a little bit of Monero just in case too, because
Sure. Yeah. And
I,
one's
I
obfuscation, one's zero knowledge proofs. Just hold them both. Whatever.
yeah,
You know
and
what I
also
mean?
like to be perfectly fair to Monero, their full chain membership proofs is on testnet right now, I believe. So it could be very soon it gets to mainnet, and that would be approach. You have to hair split on like the differences, but it would, for the practical end user, do what Zcash's shielding does, as far as have a giant anonymity set of potentially any transaction ever on the Monero network kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe like to where like it's not released, so I don't know if there's any exploits or anything, but it should be like there. And so now you have like, private by default, or rather all transactions. It's like perma shielded Zcash with a pretty high market cap and stuff. I'm like, that sounds good to me. And Monero's adopted everywhere Zcash is not. It's like there's almost no overlap in those like adoption spheres, which is kind of funny to me because they're very similar projects in terms of like end goals. But like you probably need both right now because they're used in vastly different worlds. And so if you want to be private, you should, like, I would have, like, in fact I do, Dash Monero Zcash. Dash pays for almost everything. Zcash, if you want to be all Mr. Shieldy bro over there on the more well integrated, corporate side of things, if you even want to say that. And then Monero, if you want to do that side of things, you're covered. And just don't be, and then one of those coins is going to pump. In this case, two of them have pumped. And those two did not pump for a couple of years while Monero was doing pretty damn well. So, like, I fixed it for you guys. You dumb shells. I fixed it for you. Have the three, and then you're going to be okay. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. I can't emphasize enough how bad of a look it is. Like a lot of the Bitcoin accounts, I see this, they attack XRP quite a lot. And, with any community, there's different factions. We added XRP to THORChain, and I got to say, there's some of the best, just most wonderful people. There's a whole section of group of people who do community events, altruism. They donate to worthy causes. I mean, they're just absolutely beautiful, solid people, right? And then you have the Ripple side, and I haven't really had a problem with them, but they're more corporate-y. So there's different factions, right? But it is such a bad look, in my opinion, when Bitcoin was talking shit, like calling XRP a shitcoin. It reeks of insecurity. So if there's Monero, if you're listening, ceasefire. It's not helping you at all. And what's really cool, by the way, some good advice from Monero, THORChain with memless swaps that went live, we actually now have the capability to add Monero support, which we'll be doing. And then once that goes live, my protocol will get it too. So non-KYC permissionless swaps to Monero. That'll be a first ever. So we're going to be working on that. Hopefully we get that done very, very soon. It's, it's Monero. We've never been able to do it before. So technically challenging, but it's okay, Monero. Like if Zcash is having their day, I would say my suggestion is praise them, be thankful. Privacy is your guys' time in the sun's coming too. So just, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's a big world, and there's the market cap of crypto compared to what it could be is still so freaking tiny. It's ridiculous. So just keep it positive. I mean, you're gonna win, right?
Yeah, like things have been doing pretty well for the Monero world. I will point, not to belabor all this stuff, but like for example, the FUD has been not good on some of these people. Like this Rogue One account, Mr. Monero. I wonder which coin he likes, was posting about like, oh, Binance made it clear if your Zcash has ever touched the shielded pool, it was no longer welcome. The only accept coins that have stayed fully transparent, blah, blah, blah. And then, they're rejecting your right. Anyway, complete FUD. And Ruben, who I love, Ruben Yap of Firo, he's like, as he responded to that, says, as someone who negotiated directly with Binance and came up with the idea for the exchange addresses, this is manifestly untrue. And he explains the whole thing. And then he did his own post and said, look, I'm a huge Monero fan. Heck, Firo's donations from Power Up Privacy are in Monero. That's a nonprofit that funds them sometimes. He says, but some Monero influencers spreading BS about Zcash trusted setup or exchange addresses doesn't make you look good. Don't echo chamber promote this drivel. Sure, you might get roaring support of brain-dead maxis who would eat any brain rot anyway, but it also drives away legit people who know the truth of this shit. The Monero community used to cry about BTC maxis being dumb about shit and calling Monero a shitcoin. Don't prove them right. THORChain membership plus whatever is fucking cool, and Monero is the champion of no-compromise privacy. Oh. Don't be insecure, jealous pricks. Like, yeah,
that is a self-own. That is such a bad self-own. Joel,
that's a great post. That's a great
Binance is not going to take your shielded Zcash. It's like, no, what? We don't care what the centralized exchanges do. What a self-own. You know what I mean? Oh, that is embarrassing.
And
that
also,
looks so bad.
Courage, to Ruben, because he's been a Zcash critic a lot, and probably a lot more than me, I would say. But he comes from a good faith place, right. And like he understands that shit's hard sometimes, and so he did not have to say anything that bold about stop with a FUD kind of thing, but he did. So props to him. And so I said something that got a little bit of attention. This is gonna show up in my X paycheck, by the way. Is nice. Is Vic of Cake Wallet, he posted like the Zcash price thing. He says, whether you love it or hate it, the rise has been impressive. And then I quote Tita says, I was a little sassy, of course. Anyone hating this is a spook or a useful idiot to spooks. Think long and hard about why any cypherpunk would hate decentralized, permissionless, private, open source privacy tech going viral. And then people, the people that I've been criticizing lost it over this and have been going, okay. But they gave this like 70-some thousand views, so thank you for the money. But so on that note, right? I mentioned Power Up Privacy as far as like Ruben talked about that. So Power Up Privacy just gave Dash a donation of 488 Monero, also known as about 166 grand, to fund Dash privacy development. So that's been, for me, the biggest news all, week or month or almost year, I would say, is that we got a huge donation. Huge, depends on what you mean, but for me, it's huge. It's
pretty big. It's big.
It's great.
Yeah.
And obviously someone who bought a lot here, someone obviously bought a lot of Monero at some point, and the price did really well. And then they have been giving back with that by funding the Firo team, by funding now Dash as well, by funding a lot of Monero things. Like anytime Monero has some sort of THORChain membership proof audit or something, it's just like Power Up Privacy funded this thing. I'm like, oh, wow. And then they fund Tor. They fund a bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad their coin mooned, man, because think about all the good that comes from that. Like, do you think that there's some guy who has a giant bag of like Zec somewhere that he bought at the bottom, and then he's just like so rich, and then you have some like Monero people being like, "Oh, can you look into like liquidity for like a near intense integration?" He's like, "Sure," and he just throws some Zec, and then Monero moons too. Like, that's the attitude that gets us all together, and so. When they see this chorus of whining, though, that's when they're just like, "Why would I give them money?"
Right, they're punching themselves in their own dick, right? It's dumb.
Yes.
I mean, that was beautiful what you said there. I mean, imagine if our X feeds were filled with nothing but love from Monero, saying like, you know, we think that Monero should be doing better in price, but we are so happy to see Zcash mooning. It is a revolution, is a new transition to the next thing of privacy. If our feeds were filled with that, I guarantee you Monero would be even doing better right now. So
Absolutely,
I don't know. It's, you know, don't throw out mud unless it's something absolutely immoral that is warranted, right? You have to be super careful with this. If someone's rugging people or if it's a scam, go vicious. I don't care. But that's not what Zcash is. And that's not what Monero is. So be nice, everybody. Let's work together. Let's free the world and then let's get tribal. How about that? You know what I mean?
And the thing is, being paid, like having a full-time job and like so far that I know of, no children, no like debt, no obligations. Like I don't care what happens in my personal finances at all, really. Like, I mean, I'm fine. I'm paying the bills. That's all I care about. I'm thinking about which coin mooning would make me the happiest. And I would probably say Dash because I do have a Dash denominated budget and I could just do so many more cool things if it went up. But my number 2 would not be Zcash, even though I hold more Zcash probably than other things. And I'm close with the community because that would just make me better off. But I'm doing fine. I would love for Monero to go up because then this big donation we got can do just so much cool stuff. And so like I made a post about that where I basically said, actually, I would be more happy if Monero's price mooned than Zcash because it would let me do more awesome things. And I linked the Power Privacy donation article. That's 100% true. Like, can you imagine a Monero person being like, actually, I'm loving the Zcash is going up because someone gave me a bag and I'm going to use this to build awesome Monero tech. And like that's where we should be. But I think we are. And to be fair, right? Obviously, Power Privacy, who donated, whoever is behind that is clearly at least a semi-fan of Monero to have a bunch. But also Ruben of Firo, he's obviously the project steward for Firo, so that's his number 1, but he seems to be much more pro Monero than he is Zcash. And also working closely with them was Diego of CipherStack / Wallet. And Diego was part of the Monero core team before. He's about as Monero as a guy you can get without being a maxi. And Ruben and Diego both helped me very much with negotiating with Pop and getting this done. So I'm very appreciative to them. Like the Monero people I know off the top of my head who are awesome are, obviously, those two, but then also like Chill Brimmer, she's great. Doug Tuman, I've had my arguments with him. I'm not going to say I haven't, but he's like a good and positive dude running Monerotopia. What's his name? Arctic Mine. I've had him on my show before. I like him. Like the number of people who are like really cool, and like also like Luke Parker, Kayaba Nerve. I know he's had some friction with the THORChain community, but I kind of like I chalk that up to just like, I don't know if I can say like autism is the right way to say it, but I'm saying just it doesn't seem to. He seems to be like a legitimate good dude they've just
he is a good guy.
And that's it.
Luke is a good guy, and he's a very, very talented engineer. And JP actually said that himself. JP Thor, but there's a couple of JPs. And he's making Sarai, and Sarai is an attempt to add Monero. THORChain's going to add it too now that we have Memless. And I have always been positive of Luke, a very talented person. There's some very powerful personalities, right, at the very tippy top, and that's okay. I think the most powerful personalities, they really push the industry forward. They're bold, they're decisive. Maybe they're wrong occasionally, but that's what we need. And to your point too, like I've had so many people in THORChain who are actually Monero holders too, and they're some of the best people. So it's hard to, sometimes, yeah, like you said, is it 10%, is it 50%? It's probably the lower end, but they're so loud. So you notice them.
Yeah, I kind of wish some people would be a little bit more aggressive in pushing back against them, but again,
Yeah.
it's their thing. And also like looking through, because I'm speaking at Monerotopia in February, which I did mention before, and there's a bunch of people I like that are there too. But as far as like a Monero dude, I would also add, of course, Paul Poi of Edge Wallet. He's clearly
Yes.
like a multi-coin dude, but I think that I don't know if whether he'd say that or not. His heart is Monero above other things. In fact, I have an Edge like long sleeve T-shirt. It's one of those weird rock climbing kind of things. It's like those long sleeve shirts with a hood.
Yeah.
It's like a semi hoodie, like an athletic hoodie. I have one of those that is like an Edge Wallet thing, and there's a big old Monero logo on the background. And I wore that last week on this show. And so like they're big Monero people, and that's
Right.
fine because Monero's fine and Paul's great, and I'm never going to say a bad thing about him.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've met him in real life. Briefly we've spoken and we've done things. I've seen him at a Litecoin conference, and I've seen him, BTC Las Vegas. I didn't get to speak with him then, but absolutely solid human being. Paul is. Edge Wallet is incredible. They're actually one of the first integrations of THORChain. There's people in here that it's like when you talk to somebody and they're the real deal. There's no BS behind their eyes. They really mean what they say, and they say what they mean. That's Paul, 100%. So shout out to Paul. Love that man. Great job.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
anytime I've ever had like anything related to like friction with him is always just because he's so like on the ball. He's so like transparent and direct and no nonsense and stuff in a very nice way, but still. And so like I couldn't say anything wrong about that. So now let's get into Runtard land. Is that Runtard guy still around, by the way?
Oh yeah, he is the bomb.com, buddy. He has been I think one of the most important community members ever. So after the whole Thorfi thing, or not the Thor thing, excuse me, the Bybit thing, where a lot of valid node operators were scared, right? Like there was a war, there was a civil war.
I remember.
And the freedom people won out. Runtard realized he was yeah, buddy. He was an attack vector. So Runtard has been training other node operators. And that's a really cool thing that's unique about my protocol on THORChain, is that node operators train their own competition. How does that make sense? Well, if you have a diversity of node operators, that makes Rune and the whole network more secure. So yeah, you compete, you want the least slash points, but you do not want the diversity of your node operators leak. So when node operators have a problem, you immediately help them. Hey, this is how you fix this problem. Stay in the network. You know what I mean? It's an incredible. That's why I really love what we're building. It's truly astonishing. So yes, Runtard is active, and I don't think he's ever been more active. Love that guy too. Right up there with Paul. I'll never meet him. He told me I'm never going to meet him, which is mean. But hey, he wants to be Anon. I respect it.
When he says that, you should just tell him that's what you think.
Yeah.
That's what you think. I'll find you.
He mentally effed me because he's like, well, maybe I've already met you. Didn't know it was me at a conference. I'm like, dude, that's raw, dude. Don't do that to me, bro. But
that happens. Cool, like I have met so many Anon people. Like,
yeah,
I one of my good friends today, like good IRL friends and like semi neighbors, right? I knew him for like literally 5 years as some random Anon dude and we're like friends, pseudonymous friends. And then he like one time like walks in and says, "Oh, hey, you're that like Desert Links guy." I'm like, "Probably." Like, the hell are you? He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm insert pseudo." I'm like, "Oh, that dude, he's the real person." Wow. So
yeah, I have a request for anyone who wants to be Anon. Don't give yourself a gender. Like Runtard technically could be a girl. I think he's a guy just because it's my instinct. But don't do what JP Thor did and go with Lena and get me all sexually confused and have me daydream about taking JP Thor camping when I think it's a hot woman that's really brilliant. That is mean. You know what I mean? Don't do it. Just
he's a ruggedly handsome man, though. So it's still
but I'm not. I'm so straight, dude. Yeah. I just love females so much. I'll never be gay. So yeah.
Speaking of which, do you remember what was it? Mira Hurley. Do you remember that person?
Vaguely. Tell me.
Mira Hurley was like a crypto influencer on X, kind of very nice and measured, but very intellectual. And was a big member of the nano community for a while. It was kind of like their biggest influencer for a while. And then it turned out that it's a dude. It's Milan Dacheda who runs NanoGPT. I love Milan. He's also a handsome guy, right? But he's not a
Yeah.
And he was working for the Dutch central bank at the time, so he couldn't be like publicly under his name posting crypto stuff. So it makes sense, but it is just kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, pseudos are funny. So we're going to put up this thing from THORChain about memoless swaps. This THORChain official account posted actually after we started the show. Memoless swaps are now live on THORChain's front end, meaning the official one, not the Leodex one. Sorry, Cal. I kind of feel like he got rugged, but that's a different story. Anyway, so what cool stuff has been happening in THORChain this last couple months or so?
Yeah, so memoless is really cool innovation. So you do not need to connect your wallet. It's basically, just think of, you can scan a QR code and then you can make a swap. And this just means any wallet that has QR code capability, which is all of them, they can now do swaps on THORChain. And it's called a cold swap. Cold swap, like cold vault, like cold storage. We could call it memoless. We're trying to debate what's the correct terminology here. Memoless, I don't think people know what that means, right? Cold swap sort of means you're disconnected, right? You're not connecting your wallet. We're going with that. We'll see if it takes off. I like it, but I don't know.
Swap. Well,
What do you say? What do you call it, right? I'm not sure.
Call it a raw dog swap.
A raw dog swap. There you go.
Dogging it, Which, by the way, that has been one of the funniest things to explain to, because I'm not a young person anymore, really. But I know I'm on the internet, so I interact with the youngs. And there's nothing funnier than telling the olds about like what raw dogging is in today's terminology. Like the fact that like people, and the thing is, the kids are really into it, and it's like I get it, but it's the craziest thing. Like, you mean you're just like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm raw dogging, and that literally means you're just sitting there staring at the wall for fun for some reason. And they're like, that's what it is. And like, oh no, I'm gonna go on. You want to pack a movie for the flight? Nah, man, I'm gonna raw dog it.
Oh, okay.
It's so funny. It's so funny, like the culture clash of generations. Just like, you don't know what the kids these days are doing. But
I feel old too, man.
They be raw dogging.
Yeah, raw dogging it. Yeah, but that's weird. Go ahead. Yeah,
so raw dogging the swap or whatever. Just so here's well, let me just ask you, because I think it's a great thing. What are the downsides of doing a cold swap versus a hot swap?
I don't know. I think it's a little less convenient, just because I think there's an extra step, because you have to put in a destination address and you have to do a memoless swap. And by the way, guys, full disclosure before I go any further, this is new. So far it's going great as far as I know, but if you have any issues whatsoever, there is an email on top of us, THORChain.org. You click swap or swap.THORChain.org if you see any problems, but please just, be careful. Do a small swap, get a feel for it, okay? Don't go crazy on it, all right? I just want full disclosure. I don't think, arguably you could say there's disadvantages, as in maybe it just takes a little bit more time to set up, but then the advantages as well is you're not connecting your wallet to an interface, right? And so you are not going to get like a smart contract rug. That would never happen on THORChain, but memoless, I think, has a good shot at becoming a very important standard where anyone can take their wallet and make a swap, a cross-chain swap, right? Because the infrastructure needed to maintain support for various wallets on your interface is quite a lot. It's quite extensive. Memoless is very, very minimal upkeep, right? Yeah. And often maybe no upkeep. So it's a different way to do it. There's a give and take, but I think it's a very important thing. But I think that the best thing for it is we can get Monero now, right? And chain integrations can become very much easier, which is awesome. Yeah,
and so for the viewers at home, from my understanding, the reason Monero's address size was the reason why this wasn't really possible.
Yeah,
because if you look at like a Bitcoin address or a Dash address or whatever, it's a certain size, and when you make a swap, you have in the op return data field or memo field or whatever, depending on your crypto, you have the actual address that you're sending to in there. And Bitcoin, for example, op return, although maybe Bitcoin's op return got increased, right, with the latest Bitcoin Core version 30 or
Right.
whatever the hell, all the drama's on. So if you don't want to put, CSAM or whatever they like to talk about in there, you just put a swap in. But anyway, the Monero address, because it's just so much longer, and so you couldn't fit it in there to even finish the swap. So this would help. Now, do you know if this is so? What's the timeline? Do you know at all about getting that on Maya? Because you did mention before. I don't know if it was during the show or if it was before, but
I
about
think
the
before.
development roadmaps of THORChain Maya are going to sort of synchronize a little bit. So like certain new features when they're deployed
Right.
will be deployed simultaneously on both. So is
Well-
this one of these or is this not?
Well,
And
okay,
go
so-
into the rest too.
Let me just clarify a little bit. So, JP Thor, in a previous interview, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, he said Maya protocol, and I've known this, but THORChain and Maya protocol, they're gonna be getting infrastructure. Their Bifrost, everything will be very similar, so where that you can just plug and place new code, right? So how it's gonna work? Because Maya protocol is gonna do things, THORChain's gonna do things. If we do something new, let's say like limit swaps or memless, or Maya protocol comes up with something new, we are test grounds for each other, right? Because let's say something horrible happens and the network, has to pause or whatever. Maya protocol's redundancy, and so Maya protocol can then take over Bitcoin swaps, Ethereum swaps, blah 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 blah. I don't want to get too off track, but we have Rujira, which is the app layer on THORChain, and I've been beating the drum and it's happening. My protocol is going to get the same app layer, right? And so you're going to have two decentralized networks that are redundant to the app layer. So if one goes down, the other can pick up. This is very, very important. It's like a trinity, right? That's what it is. So if you have a new innovative feature that comes out, it's not going to come out simultaneously. It's going to be done on one of them. And then once it's determined to be safe, working well, then the other one will adopt it. So limit swaps, so far, we had a few bugs with limit swaps. We've done 2 patches, right, in rapid succession, and now it's working again. If something else comes, we'll have to patch it again. But once we get limit swaps really squared and good to go, and of course, once we're not there, once we get our infrastructure the same, then yes, my protocol will get limit swaps. Eventually, they'll get something called rapid swaps as well. Once we add that, so it's gonna be a divide and conquer strategy between us.
So can you TLDR, what is limit swap and what is a rapid swap?
A limit swap is it's sort of like an order book, right? You put in what your swap is going, what you want, and then it's really good for arbitragers because they can put in amounts beforehand and get better price execution on balancing the pools. Because right now they have to if someone is a big streaming swap, they have to do a counter streaming swap, right? Which happens over multiple blocks. And it's not as efficient. If you have a limit order and then eventually rapid swaps, you can do these big swaps in a single block. And that is so powerful, right? So that is basically a tool for arbitragers. Like limit swaps, some people are building things that allow anybody to use it, but really the design for limit swaps is arbitrage to make the pool balance more efficient so price execution is better. So we can compete better with Near Protocol. But Near Protocol, they have a price advantage on average because the way that they do it is different because they're filling orders, right? Like specific. Whereas THORChain, you go against the pool.
It's on demand kind of.
Right. And so, if you have 2 parties that have on demand, you can get really good price efficiency there. But versus a pool, not so much. But at least with a pool, you can always execute if you need it, right? So it's just a difference. But we'll get intense as well at some point, which kind of is rapid swaps in limit order. So that's kind of what it is.
Nice. Yeah. So it's funny. I was trying to drive in with my wife the other day, and I was trying to explain to her the difference between atomic dexes and AMM dexes and intense based trading. And I mean, I kind of barely grasp all of that stuff myself. And so it was, just definitely a trooper about trying to figure it out. But this stuff is if you're not in the space to that level, it is kind of hard. But it is really cool to be having all those kinds of things. I have been known to put big, not really, but relatively large swaps through the dash pool, which is not super big, in Maya through streaming swaps, right? Because I'm just I think I did an 18 and maybe a 24-hour streaming swap one time, a few times. And so it does help. And whereas with like, if this was on like Near, for example, or some intense thing, it would be like, nope, can't do it, too big. And I would have to
Right.
literally just sequentially do like a bunch of them after the other.
Right. That's why THORChain often gets the really huge swaps, because
Mm-hmm.
the huge swap can't be fulfilled by often can't be filled. It can, but it often isn't filled by a third party, right? Which is the intent.
Mm-hmm.
And the streaming swaps are already extremely efficient. I mean, we've seen swaps on THORChain that the BTC swap is 1.5 times the size of the pool itself.
Yes, which is
Okay,
what
it's a
happened to the to
right.
Dash with the Dash pool. There was bigger than the pool swaps going
Right.
through there, which is
And these
crazy.
swaps are executing at like 20 to 30 basis points, which is
Mm-hmm.
stupid efficiency for something that is bigger than the pool itself. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
incredible innovation. But with Near Protocol, they have a slight edge there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it is a great innovation, and we applaud them. That's great. We're doing something similar, right? So it's great. I mean, the industry competition's good. Everyone gets better, and that's what it's
Yeah,
about.
of course, and that's something like there are times like I've used a lot more in my swapping things over the last few years. I don't have to swap a lot because the most useful thing that is out there really is Dash. And so that's what I have.
Right.
So I don't really need to go out of it. But when I do for like, oh, pay an invoice here, whatever, typically I've used slightly more often centralized swap services over the last couple of years than Dexes, just because of a few things. One, asset availability. I want to swap to Monero or back from Monero, whatever, and it's just not on anything. Okay. And then also like in some cases like speed, and where I just like want to do like, because if you have a swap operator that recognizes instant dash transactions, you can have like Litecoin going out in 30 seconds on the other
Right.
side, for example. But
Right.
then the other thing is, and this is a big thing with like the memoless thing, it is such a pain. The connect a wallet thing, unless you're already in the EVM style world, is such a pain in the ass. And that's,
Right.
I think, one of the very biggest detractors in, or things that's been weighing down Dash adoption on the Maya protocol over these years, is just at the beginning, there was literally not a single wallet that could do it. Like, not a
Hmm.
single one. It was only Keystore. And people didn't
Right.
know what a Keystore was or how to use it on the EVME side of the world or on the UTXO side of the world. Like no one knew, and we had to sort of like coax people along. And we didn't start to get better Dash volume until it got integrated into like Edge Wallet, right inside Voltisig, right inside
Right.
Unstoppable Wallet, places like that that are just there, and then get some extra like actual integrations, because for a while like all these extension wallets, connectable wallets, wallet connect things were for the UTXO chains were just the very top. It was just
Yeah.
Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and sometimes Dogecoin. That's it. And so Dash was like way lower in the market cap rankings just a few weeks ago. And so it just, and it was top three at one point, right? It's not like it doesn't have a legacy, but like there just was no way to use this product. So it's
Right.
like that, and then the ice cream machine breaking all the time, like McDonald's, right? Those two things kept it like, not great, but now it's there. And I am trying to get one of these kits into the Dash wallet, like hopefully this year, maybe early next,
Yeah.
like soon, so you could just in and out of the Dash wallet. And that was a big problem too, right? Where if I wanted to swap, if I wanted to be like, okay, I have a wallet that just has Dash. It does nothing. It's actually empty, but it's a Dash only wallet. Can you send Bitcoin in there and it ends up as Dash? No, because you can't just do a QR code and send from a random like Edge wallet to Dash Pay wallet. It
Right.
just doesn't work because you need to connect. And then you could do the other way around. Like I could do Dash to Bitcoin and take like, an hour and whatever it's going to be, and it goes out that way. But
Hmm.
so now that we have Memel has started to come in, and hopefully swap the swap kits of the world, the whatever Dorito kit, I don't Leo kit, all the other. Hopefully they get on that, because that would be really cool to then be able to just do it like that. And then at that point, now we're talking about volume. Now we're talking about ease of use.
Right.
Now we're talking about Valhalla.
there's something really cool about Memoless.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we need to do is you have Memoless, right? And we need to make a Memoless interface generator where you
Mm-hmm.
have an interface where anyone can come in and plug and play the Memoless thing to their own interface. Because
Mm-hmm.
what I said is the upkeep is very minimal, right? And it allows anyone with the wallet. Yeah, of course, people have to figure out how to do it, but that's a problem for the interface to figure out, right? Like they can train their people. I mean, it's right. People are still learning this crypto thing, but basically will allow anyone to use the interface generator to then provide a surface which they could apply their own affiliate fee, right? And there's so many people. Like I know people on the XRP. There's an investment firm, a consulting firm as well, where they want to have this so they have like a token, and they want to be able to people to be able to swap for a token on their interface because ownership of this token translates into discounts for the services that they provide. All kinds of stuff you can do, right? So this is where it gets exciting. You're right. Valhalla stuff is where businesses then can just rip this, put it on their thing, and they're providing a service, which again, they're capturing margin that would otherwise go to a centralized exchange. It's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And so I should point out also, like, random shout out to the Hive community, because going to Hive Fest in Croatia last year is how I really connected with Cal of Leodex.
Yeah.
It was much more in Leo focused, the social media site focused then, but now he's like all in on that stuff. And what he did do, because there was none of this Memoless stuff, as a great favor to the worlds, he added QR code swaps for Zcash and Dash. And throw up this little article I wrote about that when that happened. But basically, creating a temporary key store in there so you could just send from any wallet to there, and then you'd click the button to then do the memoed swap. So basically, it's like do you remember those, like, was it like bump stocks was one of them, and there's some other like things on firearms that would basically give you like a fully automatic firing experience on a legally semi-automatic thing. That's kind of like the legal no KYC stuff that I've been talking about. And so basically Cal did the bump stock for the THORChain bump stock, right? More or less. Where it's like,
that's a good way to put it.
Let's just do this little thing that like plugs in there, and like they got a decent amount of like traction, nowhere near what he deserved for that. And so I will also then, I just saw right now, kind of made me think about it. As he just posted right now, he says, we're working on Memoless swaps for Leodex. Live soon, Chads. That was, again, after the show started. So like everything cool happens live.
Yeah, when we're going on, man.
You heard about it here first, right? This is
that's right.
This is the
with the alpha.
The digital alpha network. Digital alpha rundown. But
well, that shows you, man, real quick on Cal. I mean, that shows you what a trooper he is. He's such a solid dude. He's helped out THORChain community, and I didn't even know he did that. So he's helping other communities, Zcash, Dash. The guy's going to be very successful. He's a hell of a team. Shout out to Cal. But go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just DM'd him. I said, massive Cal glazing going on right now.
That's right.
But yeah, it's true. Like, I mean, that team has dealt with a lot of frustrations as well, as far as just like trying to make everything work. And, a lot of this stuff, and, THORChain had, like, there's the official THORChain front end. Cal had a feeless THORChain only front end first. Yep. And, I think that brought a lot of volume to Leodex.
You know how many people I pushed to? He knows this, and I have shared that thing with everybody. That was a brilliant. That not only was it really nice to do, but it was a brilliant play. So many people now are on Leo because he took the initiative to do something that THORChain needed. So, props to him, man. Brilliant dude, just a solid guy.
Ship fast, ship what people want. So,
yep.
When like all these things are coming together very soon, like I can't wait until we have Memoless on like Maya as well, and in all the interfaces, and then you just have everything great. And then like the thing about like the whole near thing as well, like there's so many cross-chain AMM dexes out there. I don't know enough about any of these to like. No, I know plenty about THORChain. I wouldn't say I'm like I'm not as deep as you are in it, for example, but I'm pretty deep. I know about Maya, and I like the competition's going to be great. Like I remember like the chain flip people, right? And chain flip processes a decent amount of volume. They're doing fine. I remember having some like reservations about some of the structure, about how centralized is it, how decentralized is it. One thing's for sure, from my understanding of Near, it's not nearly as plug and play to set up as far as like with THORChain and Maya. Anyone can click a button and dump liquidity into the pool and you're fine. Whereas like getting solvers together, and it's like a highly technical process of like doing, from my understanding. That's at least what they say. Like, so that part is like less like dynamic, where you just like liquidity in and out here and there. Like, so like for example, if there's massive volume just goes out of nowhere in the like the Zcash pool in Maya, and like no one's swapping BTC or whatever, you can just like, like the SpongeBob meme, take some and put it over there. Just like move it. It just, people can just organically do it. Whereas with Near, from my understanding, you can do it, but you have to know what you're doing. It's like running a THORChain node kind of level of like, I got to figure this out to do it. But so I don't know what censorship resistance is like across these ones. I do know what it is like on THORChain, because it hit the DPRK test of like, can you stop those guys from going through?
And we passed.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
It was wild.
It passed. So I think,
and now we're stronger than ever, right? Like we diversified, and but go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
so off. That's the cool thing about in implementing something like, and shout out to the swap kit folks like Jima, my good old buddy Jima.
I love him. Good guy.
That's a good thing about having something like that, where you get this like key ring of different swap options. And so like, I think that everyone like what if THORChain has an issue and has to have one of the pools down? Like if, for example, Monero's only on THORChain, right now you can't DEX swap Monero for a little while, unless you also have Sarai come online again. Hopefully that happens at some point, right? And then you have, okay, well, let's do this one. Or like, let's just say you're like Zcash right now, and you're just like blowing through Maya volume all over the place, and then something happens, it gets a pause or something, and then you're like, all right, switch to Near, and then you keep swapping, and just everything keeps working and running like smooth as butter. That's the cross-chain world. That's what the centralized exchanges should be terrified of. And as far as one last time, we're still so early, because the number of exchange and swap services and things like that are out there, that when I bring up cross-chain, they're just like, huh? Or, oh, I haven't, they don't, it's not on their radar at all. I'm just like, ooh, you guys are screwed.
Yeah, 100%. Like, when you look at anything, you have to look at the central pillars, right? Is it decentralized? Is it permissionless? Is it no KYC? Right? Is there any type of middle intermediary that can switch? That's what it is. And to your point, yes, Sarai, if they get Monero, great. When we get Monero, I want it to be on my protocol as soon as possible, because we need redundancy, right?
Yes.
It's hard because we're growing, right? So Dash is on my protocol. I think it'd be good if Dash would be on THORChain, but it's a little dicey, right? We don't want to hurt Maya protocol too much right now, because we're still growing. But there's going to come a point where if we support all the assets together, it's really no big deal. The arbitrage alone is, that's where a lot of the bread and butter is, right?
Yeah.
But so it's a growing thing. I think we're going to do it as smart as we can and take it step by step. But yes, you're right. Collaboration, that's the way to go. We're going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say, I got to wrap this up now, but thank you very much for being on. The last thing I will say is I noticed that Cal's in the comments here. He says, my ears started burning. And then he said, redundancy on a second DEX is hugely important, Imho. We do this for Leo too. So there's a hold up on one. You have the second. Also helps with arbitrage, as you mentioned. But so everyone, thanks for being here. This has been a great show. Make sure to follow Patriotsounds on X at Patriotsounds. No one's going to compete with them for that name. And then obviously do a DEX swap today. If you haven't, feel free to ping me. Be like, hey, like, I can't figure this out. I'll help you. And ping Patriot as well. He can help you. So thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a fantastic show. I had a good time, I should say. I'm not.
It was a great show.
It was fun. It was fun.
Damn good show. Woo!
Yes. Let's go.
That's what it's about.
Woo! Good old Ric Flair. Woo! All right. So everyone have a fantastic weekend. See you out there. Stay decentralized. Taxation is theft. And hydrate. Hydrate. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.